What's going on, guys? Welcome back. A little bit different of a video today. Do me a favor, take a moment, like button, subscribe button, criticism in the comment section. Twitter shutdown safety is my username. Silver Blue 0-0 asked me on Twitter yesterday, if you could start an NFL team, who would be your first 5 selections on offense and then on defense? And I thought to myself, what an intriguing question. And I didn't know how to take it. Is it a fantasy draft? Because if it is, it's going to be hard for me to know who's going to fill round 2, 3, 4, 5. And you guys are always going to be maybe juxtaposed of who I would put in round 5. So I figured a great discussion we could have is if you could just start an NFL team tomorrow and go through the NFL and pick 5 players, 5 offensive, 5 defensive, for a 10-player starting point, who would you select? And my first selection is probably going to surprise a lot of you. It's actually an offensive tackle. I think you have to start with the best tackle in the game if you're going to come out this way. And I feel like I did that with Duane Brown. 6'4", 320 pounds, never missed a bell in the NFL. And this guy, to me, fits the mold of Tarik Glenn, fits the mold of Jonathan Ogden. Dependable, strong, physical players that you know are going to be able to protect your quarterback. And obviously when we go to the quarterback, I don't think that's going to leave a whole lot to the imagination. So obviously the second player, the player that's going to be protected by Duane Brown, is going to be Andrew Luck. Now, yeah, I know a few of you are going to say, well, boy, you're just a Colts fanboy. And you know what? To a degree, that's true. I probably watch Andrew Luck more than any other quarterback. But he's a young quarterback. He's durable. He's smart. He knows his limitations. He doesn't really force a lot of things and create turnovers on passes he's not capable of making. And he's got great mobility. But he's a quarterback in the pocket first. And that's what really, to me, is one of the great things. You have quarterbacks like Luck and Russell Wilson that do that very well. And since Luck can't throw the ball every single time, I want a running back like Marshawn Lynch. This is a throwback running back to me. This is a guy that runs downhill. He's sure-handed, he's durable, and you know that when he gets the ball in his hands, it's generally not going to be the cornerback that brings him down to the backfield. He's actually going to fight for yards every single time. He's going to fight through tackles. He's going to play angry, if you will, and he's going to do everything he can to get the ball to the first down marker or to the goal line. And that's what you want to see out of a halfback. So A.J. Green is going to lead my receiving core, and I say core because I'm going to pick more than one wide receiver. You know, we've got the protection, we've got the quarterback. It's just as critical, though, to complete that picture with a huge target, a player that's going to compete for the ball. And with A.J. Green, you're talking 6'4", 240, productive, has great speed still, has amazing hands, and to me, one of, if not the best young wide receivers in the league. So my receiver on the opposite side, Alshon Jeffrey, shares a very similar mold, 6'3", 216. That combination, again, of strength and speed, the knack for getting to the ball, the acrobatic catches, but also a player that's going to be productive after the speed goes away and he starts to age. You think about Masin Muhammad, Anquan Bolden, Andre Johnson. I want players in that mold that aren't relying on that youth and that speed burner to be the reason that they're productive and able to make plays. So now let's go ahead and crack into the defense. Now obviously with a lot of picks on the aerial side, it's important, at least when I'm building a team, and I know the NFL right now is a pass-happy offense system, that I have a good pair of corners. So it's fitting to me, and again, not to be a fanboy, but a little bit of it, I suppose. I start with one of the best cornerbacks in the game, Vontae Davis. This guy's a physical corner. He can play one-on-one. You take a look at the assignments he draws, it's always a number one receiver, Steve Smith, Andre Johnson, Odell Beckham Jr., Demaryius Thomas. Guy didn't give up a touchdown on any one of those players. He gets flanked by another great cornerback. Of course, that's going to be Joe Haden. To me, when you look at the wide receivers we put together, you talk about physical, tall, strong players. And to me, I think you need to combat that with just as strong and aggressive defensive backs. Defensive backs that are going to contest passes. They're going to go up and jam a receiver and disrupt the route, disrupt timing. Now, Joe Haden, to me, is equally skilled at shutting down a target, but I think more prone to gambling, and that's maybe why I put him behind Vontae Davis. But I will say, to his credit, I think a lot of Joe Haden's gambling comes from film study. It's route and pattern reads that he makes. It's understanding of what's coming in the game, and maybe what looks instinctual in gambling is really just confidence in him knowing what a receiver and quarterback are going to do in terms of the patterns. And we could talk about how a defensive back can disrupt the timing of a play, but it's also just as easily done on the defensive line, and that's why I would head my lineup with a player like Kyle Williams. This guy demands double teams. He's relentless. He's got elite speed off the line, whether you're talking about defensive end or defensive tackle, and he will disrupt the line. He will disrupt the timing. He can disrupt handoffs. So it's a versatile player, not just from a pass rush, but also from a running perspective, and that's tough to find on the line. So if it's a team I'm putting together, it's going to have an elite safety, and my option is going to be Eric Weddle. This is one of the most sure-handed tacklers in the NFL, period, when we're talking about the secondary. I don't care if you're talking about assisted tackles or open field tackles. Seldom does Eric Weddle not get it done. He also has not just a knack of making a big play, but also making it at critical game-breaking times. He's also a very good leader. He's got great athleticism, and when you watch him, you can tell that he just plays with a tenacity and a fearlessness that sometimes can limit careers, but also really makes for elevated gameplay when he's on the field. Now, on the other side of the defense, we need a quarterback as well, and to me, that's going to come in Luke Kuechly, the middle linebacker. And to me, Luke Kuechly is an unbelievable player. He is durable. He's dependable. He makes a lot of sure-handed tackles. And he doesn't show a vulnerability like you have a lot of players tend to do to the run or to the pass. The other great thing about Luke Kuechly is he can play outside or he can play in the middle. So it's not as if when you're building a team, you're penciling him in to one exact spot. He can go elsewhere if needed. So I'd love to know your guys' opinions on this. I appreciate you checking this video out. I'll be back in the week with more content.